Marvel just confirmed the new Black Panther live on stage at Comic-Con, and fans are calling it the perfect casting choice. But buried in this reveal is a detail about Shuri's future that nobody's talking about, and it might not be good news.
Marvel Studios just answered the question fans have been asking for 4 years. Who takes up the mantle of Black Panther next? And the answer came live, on stage, in front of one of the biggest crowds Comic-Con's ever seen. Saturday, July 25, 2026, inside Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con, director Ryan Coogler announced David Jonsson will star as the new Black Panther in Black Panther 3, set to hit theaters December 15, 2028. This was the big reveal at Marvel's presentation. Widely called the most anticipated panel of the whole show, fans waited over a day just in line to get through those doors. Here's the backstory that makes this hit so different. Chadwick Boseman first played T'Challa back in 2018. That film became the first superhero movie ever nominated for Best Picture and pulled in over $1.3 billion worldwide. Boseman passed away from cancer in August 2020. The 2022 sequel, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Coogler directing again, dealt with that loss head-on. It wrote T'Challa's death into the story itself and centered Letitia Wright as Shuri, stepping into the suit. That one made roughly $850 to $859 million and won an Oscar for Ruth E. Carter's costume work, making her the first black woman to win 2 Academy Awards. And that post-credits scene, that's where this all started. It showed us T'Challa had a son introduced by Lupita Nyong'o's character Nakia, while Rihanna's Lift Me Up played out. Ever since then, nearly 4 years, fans have been guessing. Names like Damson Idris kept coming up, and everyone kept asking if Shuri would stay in the role long-term.
Okay, 4 years. Let's actually sit with that number for a second because I think it's easy to forget just how long fans have been chewing on this question. Boseman passed in 2020, Wakanda Forever dropped in 2022 with that post-credits reveal, and now here we are in 2026 finally getting an answer. That's not a quick turnaround, that's Marvel taking real time to figure out how to handle one of the most emotionally loaded character transitions in the entire MCU. And I think what's genuinely impressive here is how Coogler handled the emotional weight of this without ever cheapening it. He didn't just recast T'Challa with a new actor playing the same guy, he built an entire in-story mechanism, the son, the time jump, the coming-of-age angle. That's a much harder narrative path than just quietly moving on, and it shows they were serious about honoring Boseman rather than papering over his absence. I also love that people were speculating about Damson Idris this whole time. That tells you how starved fans were for any scrap of information. 4 years of pure guesswork based on almost nothing.
Now we know. Bringing Jonsson out on stage, Coogler put it plain, the last movie introduced T'Challa's son, and this next one picks up as that boy grows up and comes of age. Reports say he goes by Toussaint, also T'Challa II. David Jonsson's 32, you've seen him in industry, The Long Walk, Alien, Romulus. Coogler specifically pointed to The Long Walk when introducing him, that Stephen King story where he and Cooper Hoffman play friends walking towards something terrible. Jonsson walked out to a full standing ovation, hand over his chest, smiling. He thanked Coogler, Kevin Feige, everyone involved, said he was honored to be part of this family, and he'd rather let the work speak for itself right now.
The name reveal Toussaint T'Challa II is such a specific, deliberate choice, and if you know your Wakanda mythology even a little, that name isn't random. It's steeped in real historical and cultural weight tied to Haitian revolutionary history. Marvel clearly isn't just slapping a placeholder name on this kid, there's intention behind it. And can we talk about David Jonsson for a second? If you haven't seen The Long Walk, go watch it immediately, because that performance is genuinely one of the most quietly devastating things I've seen from a younger actor in years. Coogler specifically calling that role out while introducing him wasn't an accident. I think that's Coogler telling the audience directly, this guy can carry real emotional weight, which is exactly what this role is going to require given everything Black Panther represents. The standing ovation, hand over his chest, that's not a manufactured Marvel moment, that reads as genuinely overwhelmed. And honestly, I'd rather let the work speak for itself. Is such a mature response from a 32-year-old stepping into one of the most scrutinized roles in modern franchise filmmaking.
He wasn't alone. Letitia Wright and Winston Duke were right there with him. Denzel Washington's also officially in the cast, like we heard ahead of the panel. Let's be clear what's fact and what's still up in the air. Confirmed. Johnson's casting, who he's playing, the December 2028 date, and Washington's involvement. The actual plot. Nothing has been laid out. Fans are already drawing lines to comic book arcs, like where Shuri takes over after T'Challa's hurt, then steps aside later, but that's all fan theory. Marvel hasn't confirmed a single part of that.
I really appreciate the script drawing such a hard line here between what's confirmed and what's fan speculation, because this is exactly the kind of story where casual coverage blurs that line constantly. The casting, the character, the release date, Denzel Washington, locked, confirmed, done. The actual plot, genuinely a black box right now. And the fan theorizing about the comics is fascinating, but I want to be really careful here, because it's easy to see a comic book parallel and assume that's exactly what's coming to screen. Marvel has consistently taken comic source material and completely reworked it for the films, sometimes barely resembling the original arc at all. So while it's fun to speculate about Shuri stepping aside the way she did in the comics, I genuinely hold that pretty loosely. We simply don't know yet, and I think that's actually the most honest place to sit with this news right now.
This isn't just about one movie, either. Marvel has been working through a stretch where goodwill has been harder to come by, too many Disney Plus shows, some films that didn't land the way people hoped, and general interest in superhero stories has cooled a little. This panel felt like their chance to show everyone, these are the projects we're leaning into. And there was way more. Ryan Gosling was revealed as the new Ghost Rider. That film's also 2028, and he's reteaming with his Star Wars Starfighter director Sean Levy. Gosling said he's wanted this role for years, and there's a nice little detail. His partner Eva Mendes starred in the original Ghost Rider back in 2007, before the MCU even really existed.
This context is honestly the most important part of the whole story, and I think a lot of casual fans miss it entirely. Marvel hasn't just been coasting lately, there's real documented fatigue. Too many Disney Plus shows diluting the brand, films underperforming critically, audience interest genuinely cooling off. This panel wasn't just here's some fun news. It was Marvel essentially staking its claim on what it thinks its biggest bets are for the next few years. And putting Black Panther 3 alongside a Ghost Rider reveal with Ryan Gosling tells you something about the scale of what they're building here. The Eva Mendes detail is such a fun, human touch too. Imagine sitting in that audience watching your partner get cast in a role your own film touched decades earlier. That's a genuinely sweet, weirdly full-circle Hollywood moment.
We got our first look at Avengers. Doomsday dropping December 18, plus news Avengers. Endgame hits theaters again September 25, with new footage tying straight into Doomsday. The trailer showed Robert Downey Jr. Victor Von Doom has real history with Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards and Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm. Storm even says he was a different person before he lost everything he cared about. Downey Jr. joked on stage that Reed and Doom were basically besties, playing off that buzz from the Fantastic Four, First Steps, where Doom was sitting in their living room with their baby. A huge group of Doomsday cast members came out too. Wright, Duke, Chris Evans, Haley Atwell, Simu Liu, Danny Ramirez, Anthony Mackie, James Marston, Kelsey Grammer, Paul Rudd, Rebecca Romijn, David Harbour, Louis Pullman, Tena Huerta. And yeah, Ryan Reynolds crashed it. Walked right up from the audience in a new gray Deadpool suit, joking with Paul Rudd and Downey Jr. about how much trouble this whole reveal must have cost. Downey Jr. just laughed and said the footage was already done.
Okay, the Reed Richards and Doom connection is exactly the kind of long-game storytelling that makes the MCU genuinely compelling when it's working well. Planting that baby in the living room post-credits scene, then paying it off a panel later with actual trailer footage, that's not lazy fan service, that's patient world building across multiple films. And I just have to say, Downey Jr., calling Reed and Doom besties is such a perfect, deflating joke for what's clearly a genuinely dark, tragic backstory being teased. That's very on brand for him specifically, using humor to undercut the weight of something the trailer itself is playing completely straight. The Ryan Reynolds bit is just pure, unfiltered fun, and honestly, moments like that are part of why Hall H remains such a big deal. It's not just marketing, it's genuinely unpredictable live theater with actual actors riffing off each other in real time.
So what happens now? Black Panther 3, still more than 2 years away, will get more details slowly, not all at once. Before that, Sony's Spider-Man, brand new day July 31, and Avengers, Doomsday in December. Both already looking like they're going to dominate the conversation for months. Advanced ticket sales for Doomsday are already strong. On screen show that Hall H moment, Coogler bringing Jonsson out in front of that sea of people. Side-by-side shots of Boseman's T'Challa, right Shuri, Jonsson stepping in. The title card reveal and a quick timeline from Boseman's passing through that post-credits moment right up to this week. Bottom line, after 4 years of wondering, Marvel's given us an answer. David Jonsson is T'Challa II, the new Black Panther, and the film locked for December 2028. Exactly how it all unfolds, for now, that's still a mystery.
2 years is a long runway, and I think that's actually smart pacing on Marvel's part rather than something to be impatient about. We just watched what happens when franchises rush, inconsistent quality, audience fatigue, exactly the stuff this panel was trying to counteract in the first place. Taking real time with a character transition this emotionally significant feels like the right call, even if it means a long wait. In the meantime, we've got Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and Avengers. Doomsday both landing before we get anywhere near Black Panther 3, so honestly, the wait's going to be pretty busy either way. So here's my final verdict. This was a genuinely well-handled, emotionally thoughtful way to move this franchise forward. David Jonsson feels like a real, deliberate choice rather than a safe one. The character concept respects what came before instead of erasing it, and Marvel clearly used this panel to signal exactly where its biggest bets are headed for the next few years. So tell me, what's your take on this one? A. Perfect casting, I'm already sold on Jonsson. B. Cautiously optimistic, but I need to see the actual story first. C. I think Shuri should have stayed the permanent Black Panther. D. Just happy Boseman's legacy is being handled with real care. Drop your letter below and tell me why. And if you want more of these Comic-Con and Marvel breakdowns as news keeps dropping, make sure you're subscribed to Janine Reacts. We've got a lot more coming out of this Hall H panel alone.